Well, many thanks for joining us. You're watching QTV. We're broadcasting live from our studios along Kairaba Avenue. And this is the news with me, Antsumana Iswanyasi. Coming up this evening, President Adama Barrow has officially launched the 14th edition of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industries International Trade Fair. At the launch of their party manifesto, the Secretary General of DOI, Halifa Sallah, has called on Gambians to embrace his party's agenda for transformative change. Some security staff at Banjul Airport are taking industrial action over what they say has been a violation of their rights by their employer, SECAS. The Gambia's National Audit Office has won the prestigious prize for 2020 Best Performance Audit Report in the African Organization of English-Speaking Supreme Audit Institutions. At the TRRC, a former infantry soldier has narrated his part in the ill-fated abortive 2014 attack on State House. In international news, the decision to get a new aeroplane for Senegal's president draws criticism from opposition MPs and civil society groups. Well, stay tuned as we bring you more on these and other stories. Well, many thanks for joining us, and now we take a look at the news in detail. President Adama Barrow has officially launched the 14th edition of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industries International Trade Fair at the Independence Stadium in Bakau. As Dinaba Sonko reports, among other things, the president says he is impressed with entrepreneurs' product packaging.
Annually, businesses from a wide range of sectors, including local agriculture, banking and finance services, clothing industry, construction industry, tourism industry and international businesses, gather at the Independence Stadium in Bakau to participate in the GCCI International Trade Fair. The trade fair presents an opportunity for businesses, industries and innovators to showcase their products and services and collaborate to grow. Due to the coronavirus pandemic and the need for social distancing, the trade fair did not take place last year. The second vice president of the GCCI, Babukar Khan, deputized for the president of the GCCI, Idrissa Mas Diop, at the launching.
The Gambia is uniquely and strategically positioned to access markets within Senegambia, ECOWAS, and Africa with population sizes of 20 million, 350 million and 1.3 billion, taking advantage of various bilateral and regional trade agreements and the new African Continental Free Trade Area.
In his statement, President Barrow stressed the need for private sector participation in GCCI activities like the trade fair. He called the private sector an engine of growth for the Gambian economy. The president was given a conducted tour of the trade fair at the end of the official launching.
The impression is very, very good. As president, I'm the chief patron of the GCCI. That's why this year I said I have to come and support them. And going around, seeing what the Gambians are doing, I think we are really, really happy. We are impressed because they are doing a lot of things and they are creating jobs. And the packaging also, I'm very, very impressed with the packaging. I think going forward, maybe in the next 2-3 years, you see a big difference in this country.
Considering the fact that most of the participants are young people, what is your impression in relation to that?
I'm really happy because if you look at our population, about 60 to 65% are young people. If young people are involved, young people are not idling now, they are ready to work, I think that is very good for our country, it's very promising.
An exciting aspect of the GCCI Trade Fair is the chance it gives to entrepreneurs to network and build strong partnerships among themselves and international businesses. The GCCI is currently constructing a permanent trade fair site in Bijilo, which they have turned over to the government for use as a treatment and vaccination center. The GCCI also organized a fundraising project called Business Against Coronavirus to support the fight against the pandemic. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenna Basonko.
Impressive. Halifa Sallah, the Secretary General and the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Organization for Independence and Socialism, DOI, on Tuesday called on Gambians to embrace the party's transformative agenda to ensure system change. He was speaking at the official launch of DOI's manifesto for the forthcoming presidential elections. More in this report. The event sets the pace for what the party's presidential candidate says is the beginning of what will be a rigorous campaign to eradicate ignorance and poverty and the establishment of strong governance institutions that will ensure system change in the Gambia. The transformative agenda is a policy document that shall serve as DOI's development blueprint if elected to office. Sam Sarr, the party's head of media and communications, says the transformative agenda affirms the party's commitment to fulfilling its campaign promises, and he called on Gambians to vote for DOI in the upcoming presidential elections.
We want every Gambian citizen to be sovereign. We want every Gambian to be able to analyze the situation in which we are and support the party on the basis of its program.
In a lengthy speech that was frequently interrupted by cheers and applause by party supporters, in a show of acknowledgement and appreciation for the veteran, erudite and much admired politician, Halifa Sallah says the party's manifesto, otherwise known as the transformative agenda, is very practical. He went on to explain how the party will strengthen the country's governance institutions and support the productive base of the economy to bring about system change. Gambia, he adds, must free herself from poverty, and the only way to realize that is to eradicate ignorance. And he urged Gambians to vote for DOI in order to end corruption and the politics of deception in the Gambia.
And that is why we are here today, to continue that education, that enlightenment, so that the Gambian people will take charge of their destiny to be new Gambians who will be able to build a new Gambia free from poverty, injustice, and ignorance.
Speaking further, an emotional Halifa Sallah says he finds it difficult to understand why poverty remains prevalent in most parts of the country, despite being endowed with natural resources that, if well exploited, will end poverty in the Gambia. Adding that a DOI government will support farmers, youth and women to excel in all sectors, especially agriculture and health. He also says tourism, education and security are also at the top of his development agenda. While bemoaning the rise in crime in the country, Sallah calls on Gambians to embolden themselves with requisite knowledge to build a self-reliant and self-determined republic.
If you don't know someone, you will not be able to get the job. It is who you know, not what you know. That's what you say. That's what you say every day. For 56 years, since Gambia attained the right to self-determination, DOI has come to put that to an end.
The People's Democratic Organization for Socialism and Independence was founded in July 1986 and has participated in several elections since, including presidential, National Assembly and local government elections. Party officials say voting for DOI in the upcoming elections means voting for a prosperous Gambia where all will live in dignity. Ansmane Sonyasi for KTV News. And that report will lead us to our first commercial break. We will be back in just a moment. Do stay tuned.
Mobile service has done it again. Now you can buy cash power with your QMoney account free of charge. Yes, you heard me right. For free. Nothing is cheaper than free. So start buying your cash power from the comfort of your homes with unbeatable services QMoney has to offer. With QMoney, life is easy. Visit your nearest QMoney agent to cash in or call customer care on 133 for more information. Don't forget to wash your hands with soap after handling cash. Stay home, stay clean, stay safe. QMoney, Sunyu Kalpe. We innovate, others follow.
Thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining us, this is QTV News coming to you live from our studios along Kairaba Avenue with me, Ansmane Sonyasi. Now, staff of Seacass, an international airline security company operating in the Gambia, have made allegations of rights violations by the company, prompting them to take industrial action. This was revealed in an interview on Tuesday with QTV's Mohamed Lamin Choi.
Seacass Gambia Limited is one of 16 offices the security company operates in Africa. These are some of their staff employed as security agents. However, they claim working conditions have left them frustrated.
What is so wrong about Gambia and Gambians to the extent that we do not have to behave like other SICAS agents? What they are doing in Cameroon, in Senegal, in anywhere, we are doing even 10 times far more than that. Because sometimes we work until we pass the rate of SICAS responsibilities. So what is so special? What is so wrong about us? Are we subhumans? Are Gambians subhuman to the extent that they have to be exposed to such cruelty? No.
In this employment contract obtained by QTV, permanent staff are given the job title of security agent. The staff believe, however, that the job title and description have created room for them to be exploited by the company. An extract from the job description of a security agent reads, "The job title or description does not limit the work you do, and you may be required to do any work within your capacity, which the employer from time to time may require you to do." 5 of the staff who were offered permanent employment under these terms of service, having served their probation, have refused to sign the employment letter. According to one of their number, this job title and description are contrary to the one they were given when they were on probation, which was airline security agent.
We think that signing that kind of contract letter, you are putting yourself at the mercy of your employer, especially a kind of employer like him who at any point in time he can just call you to go and clean his house because you say...
As part of the staff terms and working conditions, SICAS Limited Gambia has indicated in its employment contract to pay 10% of the 15% of their salary to the Social Security and Housing Corporation. However, to verify any payment of their Social Security contributions, staff obtained a remittance advice from Social Security, which indicates that SICAS had only paid for 7 of its 25 staff from January to March 2021.
25 staff, after 25 staff, 7 staff are to be paid. Is this what is happening in Cameroon? No. Is this what is happening in Senegal? No. Is this what is happening in Conakry? No, they pay their Social Security. Don't we deserve better? When we resign from this work and then we go to Social Security, we end up having nothing after 60 years. This is wrong.
On May 24th, SICAS Gambia Limited handed a 2-week suspension without pay to 14 of its staff for staging a sit-down strike on the 8th of May. The staff claimed that the strike was in response to continuous provocation by SICAS Gambia's country manager, which compromised their designated working hours. On Tuesday, both parties held closed-door meetings aimed at discussing the problems for possible solutions. QTV contacted the SICAS country manager for comments, but he was not available for reaction before this broadcast. Mohamed Lamin Choi, QTV News.
The National Audit Office of the Gambia is the winner of the prestigious prize for 2020 Best Performance Audit Report in the African Organization of English-Speaking Supreme Audit Institutions. The office on Wednesday organized a press briefing on the achievements and the challenges of the Performance Audit Unit. Abibato Sisi reports.
This year's prize for the Best Performance Audit Report in the AfroCE Region 2020 goes to the National Audit Office of the Gambia for their highly relevant report, Performance Audit Report Emergency Obstetric Care in Public Health Facilities, Ministry of Health and Social Welfare. Congratulations to the National Audit Office of the Gambia for their exemplary work and a distinguished performance audit work.
The winning report, covering January 2017 to December 2019, is entitled Emergency Obstetric Care in Public Health Facilities. It deals with access to acute obstetric care in public health facilities in the Gambia. The report is based on, among other things, the UN Agenda 2030 Sustainable Development Goal 3, which deals with women's health and ways to ensure quality in maternity care to reduce maternal deaths. At the event, the Auditor General of the National Audit Office, Karamba Toure, says the Performance Audit Report Prize was initiated by African Organization of English-Speaking Supreme Audit Institutions, supported by the Swedish National Audit Office, to benchmark good practices in performance audit and to highlight efforts made by performance auditors around the region.
Performance audit is an independent assessment or examination of the extent to which an organization, program, or scheme operates economically, efficiently, and effectively. It goes beyond the judgments of compliance and accuracy to also evaluate performance and the value for money obtained in government transactions.
Baba S. Drame, the Director of Audit Performance Unit, says the mandate of the National Audit Office is to monitor the performance of institutions as enshrined in the Constitution. He went on to highlight the achievements made by the Performance Audit Unit.
Since the establishment of the Performance Audit Functions, 7 reports have been sent to the National Assembly. The first one was solid waste management by the Banjul City Council. This was completed in December of 2015 and submitted to National Assembly in February of 2016. HIV/AIDS prevention, treatment, care and support in the Gambia was also completed in 2016 January and sent to Parliament in February of 2016. Distribution of electricity by NAWEC within the Greater Banjul area completed in March 2017 and sent to National Assembly in April of 2017.
On the proper implementation of the recommendations of the report by the National Assembly, Mr. Drame has this to say.
We have sent 7 reports to the National Assembly since the inception of the Performance Audit Unit. None of the reports have been discussed, and if they have been discussed, that would have pushed the relevant officers to implement the audit recommendation, which would have translated into better service delivery and also which would have improved the life of citizens of the Gambia. So it is the responsibility of the Auditor General, of course, to present to National Assembly, but it is their responsibility now to discuss and hold those charged with governance the responsibility to implement the recommendations.
This year's competition also received nominations from Botswana, Mauritius, Rwanda, Tanzania, the Gambia, and Zambia. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Swedish National Audit Office plans to invite the winners next year for a study visit to exchange knowledge and experiences with Swedish colleagues. For QTV News, I am Abibatu Sise.
Well, congratulations to the National Audit Office. Now, the Technical Advisory Committee of the West Coast region on Wednesday held its quarterly forum at the Governor's office in Brikama to review policy directives, development projects and programs. Lamin Dabo tells us more.
This forum brought together the region's heads of departments and technicians to share success stories and challenges faced by various institutions in relation to the implementation of development projects and programs geared towards impacting the lives of people within the region. Welcoming the delegates, the Governor of West Coast Region, Lamin Sane, who doubles as the chairman of the Technical Advisory Committee, says development is everyone's business, calling for effective and efficient participation by all.
Through the Local Government Act of 2002, that there should be heads of civil servants forming attack secretariats within each of the regions. And West Coast Region is not an exception of that. This staff will meet once every quarter to discuss issues about policy formulations, policy regulations, what are the programs of governments, how can we intervene as a sector or as sectors to ensure that the NDP of government at least is fulfilled.
Adama Bojang, the Director of Planning and Development, representing the CEO of Brikama Area Council, describes the gathering as a worthy venture, as the council always embraces partnerships to realize their development activities.
With regards to my activity report, which includes the current road construction going around the market area, I want to ensure the public that these roads will finish before the commencement of the rainy season. And I also want to use this opportunity to plead with the general public for their patience and understanding, because it was a general cry. And definitely we have come to solve that issue.
Bakari Gassama, a representative of the Department of Regional Agriculture Directorate, explains some of the steps his institution has taken to revitalize their work in the region.
And already we have spoke to all the districts, the 9 districts that we are operating. And under that 9 districts, we have 292 communities that we are working with, from Katong to Bruma. So in that regards, all the supervisors were put to task, and then they have bringing their work plan, and then also we have looked at it, and then we discussed, and then according to the plans, we are giving the more opportunity for the horticultural sector, because since we know this region is no exception to horticultural development.
Njaga Khan, the Regional Community Development Officer, who doubles as the Secretary General of the region's Technical Advisory Committee, expresses appreciation, describing the forum as a way of promoting accountability and transparency. At the end of the meeting, the committee intends to make recommendations which will provide possible solutions to the challenges identified by the committee. For QTV News, Lamin Alaifan Nindao.
We'll take a second commercial break. We will be right back. Welcome back from that short break. Now, a former infantry soldier posted at the State House narrated to the Truth Commission on Wednesday how he and others attacked the State House in December 2014. Modunjai said their mission was to rescue the country from dictatorship. Babukar reports.
Modunjai was appearing before the Truth Commission in helping establish the human rights violations that occurred during the Jammeh-led government. Former soldier posted at the State Guards Battalion as an infantry soldier, Modunjai told the commission that life in the army was very difficult and not safe, and thus he decided to leave the country and embark on the backway journey to Italy. The witness said while in Europe, things were getting worse in the Gambia as Jammeh and his government continued to torment its citizens, and human rights violations were the order of the day. As a result, he and other ex-soldiers living abroad decided to find a solution to end dictatorship in the Gambia.
Because he himself told that nobody can vote him out for election that is out of it. And we see that, yes, that happened. So many elections has passed and then nothing was done. And he himself used to say, if anybody need this place or my chair, you have to use armed by force.
The witness said they came up with different ideas of either attacking Jammeh's convoy, find him at a gathering and attack him, but later decided to attack the State House. He went further to narrate to the commission how they attacked the State House, but the mission failed when they had already entered inside the State House. Modunjai said 2 of his colleagues were gunned down before he was arrested and tortured.
That's the
time they pulled out my nails and did everything to me.
Wow, they
removed your nails?
Yeah, for me fire because
so when inside they remove my nails because so that I will not be able to fire again, because when Savage took the other gun, they didn't know that I was with another one.
So after pistol combat it
that's the time where they used their combats and hit on my fingers so that
their combat what? Boots?
Yeah, their combat boots.
Yeah, combat boots.
So touch my kanam bi yep.
They break my face.
See me naked.
And I was undressed nakedly.
Not even your underwear?
Nothing.
Naked.
So after you takama, dima watat.
And they tied me up and dragging me.
The witness went on to say that he was arrested and taken to the hospital, where he spent about a week before they took him to the NIA at Bambadinka for a so-called VIP treatment. His father was later arrested, which, according to the witness, disturbed him mentally. Others accused of being involved, accused persons such as Buba Bojang, Amadou Sow, and Abdoulaye Job were being tortured by the junglers, the witness stated. He told the commission that he spent almost 4 months at the NIA before he was sentenced through the court-martial. He was sentenced for life and transferred to the Mile 2 Central Prison, where he described as not fit for human purpose. as the food, environment, and living conditions were horrible. The witness said he spent 2 years of his sentence at the Mile 2 prisons before he was pardoned. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
Now, the Deputy Imam of Kanilai has appealed to the public to help complete the construction of their village mosque. As Babu Karsi reports, the women gardeners have also lamented the lack of adequate water supply at their community garden. Here is the report.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
A call to prayer just before 5 p.m. Men and children congregate inside this makeshift corrugated fence mosque that looks like a storage facility. It is in such a bad state that it is unusable during the rainy season. The former president, Yahya Jammeh, demolished the previous mosque to make way for the construction of a more modern and bigger mosque. That mosque now stands tall, half-built, with broken construction machines lying about. Bala Musa Tamba is the muezzin who calls for prayer or azan. He explains how the mosque under construction was conceived and the challenges they are facing using the makeshift mosque. Jammeh realized that the previous mosque was small and the village is heavily populated. Also, many visitors come and pray here. The mosque does not belong to Kanilai, but to the Gambia and the whole world. It is God's house, and we are all equal here. We will be glad if the mosque is completed because it is filled with water during the rainy season. The Deputy Imam Mamadou Jallo is pleading for support from government, the private sector and philanthropists to complete the unfinished mosque while highlighting the challenges faced with the makeshift mosque. During the rainy season, we are unable to pray in the mosque because it is inundated with water. It is very hot inside because there are no fans. We are appealing to people for the sake of Allah to help us complete the new mosque. If that cannot be done, let them help us to remove the corrugated iron from the makeshift mosque and put a better structure. Look at all these materials around the mosque. Most of them are taken away. We are afraid to talk because people will say it belongs to Jammeh. This is not Jammeh's wealth, but this is Allah's house and Allah's wealth. Whatever you put here, God will reward you in the hereafter. There is no shortage of incomplete projects in this community. In 2019, during a visit by QTV to the community garden, the women revealed that they spent $10,000 monthly to buy cash power to be able to get water from the borehole. Following that story, the Gambia Red Cross Society provided solar energy to pump water from the borehole instead of using cash power. However, the solar panels are not connected to batteries to store energy. Rohi Jata explains how this is affecting them.
The water is not enough for all of us. We go at 2 p.m. when the sun is hot and there is no water after 5 p.m. The plants will not grow well. That is our biggest problem at the garden. We don't want to go to Birkama to buy vegetables.
The women who toil in this garden sell the fruits of their labor in this small and incomplete market. The floor is bare with no concrete and no proper stalls. Nene Jammeh sells her produce in this market.
Our market is incomplete and we want help so that we can have a concrete floor, so that the place will not be dusty. We also want to have proper stalls to display our produce instead of using blocks. It will be more organized and the vegetables will be clean.
The people here are now soliciting support to help complete these 3 projects: the Women's Garden, the Village Market, and the House of God. Babukar Sise, QTV News.
Wow. Well, I'm afraid from that report by Babukar Sise, we will take a look at international news in a moment. Now, the decision of the Senegalese government to purchase a new presidential aeroplane due to the bad condition of the current Airbus has led to fierce criticism as the opposition and the civil society organizations demanding justification for the purchase. More in this report by Yaya Jao.
Civil society organizations and the opposition are demanding accountability over the purchase of the Airbus A320neo, which should be delivered on 16 July. According to the government spokesperson Omar Gay, the current presidential plane had become old-fashioned and maintenance costs had increased. He said the A319 model was immobile for long periods, forcing the government to use charter planes for presidential missions. This, he said, was becoming expensive for the government. The opposition say there was no need to be secretive about the cost of purchasing the plane and the procurement process. The government, however, has still not disclosed the cost. Radio France International reports that a coalition of civil societies called Neo-Lang Movement say the country had other priorities such as food and water than buying a new airplane. Reporting for QTV News, I am Yahya Jao.
And I'm afraid that's all we have for you in this edition of news. But before we take a leave of you, here's a recap for main headlines. President Adama Barrow has officially launched the 14th edition of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industries International Trade Fair. At the launch of their party manifesto, the Secretary General of DOI, Halifa Sallah, has called on Gambians to embrace his party's agenda for transformative change. Some security staff at Banjul International Airport are taking industrial action over what they say has been a violation of their rights by their employers, SECAS. The Gambia's National Audit Office has won the prestigious prize for 2020 Best Performance Audit Report in the African Organization of English-Speaking Supreme Audit Institutions. At the TRRC, a former infantry soldier narrated his part in the ill-fated abortive 2014 attack on State House. In international news, the decision to get a new aeroplane for Senegal's president draws criticism from opposition MPs and civil society groups. Well, that's all we have for you in this edition of news. Do join us at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Until then, on behalf of the entire production team, thanks for watching.